We went to the D-Day tournament at Element Games and finished first and second place.
Welcome to the Dice Ghost event edition. The Dice Ghost team have travelled to Stockport UK to attend the 80th anniversary of D-Day bolt action event in Element Games.
Element Games has a huge shop full of all kinds of hobby stuff and hold massive events for all kinds of games, but most importantly, bolt action! Event rules: 3 games, 1,000 point army. Rules are taken from the D-Day bolt action Overlord campaign. There was about 10 players turn out, which was balanced at about 5 Axis, 5 Allied. Allied was a mix of British commandos and US. Axis was, I think, just 5 German lists.
Let's jump in and take a look at the list we took to win this event. Drop a comment below and see if you can guess which list came first and which list came second. For my US list, I took an inexperienced officer with a rifle, a 7-man infantry veteran squad with 2 BARs and the NCO with a submachine gun, another 7-man veteran infantry squad with 2 BARs, 2 7-man regular squads with 2 BARs, a veteran ranger squad which had 3 submachine guns and a light machine gun, a veteran sniper team, a regular flamethrower team, the regular bazooka team, a M2 heavy artillery heavy howitzer, a regular M4 75mm Sherman tank, and an inexperienced Jeep. A total of 1,000 points, 12 dice.
For my German list, I took a regular 2nd lieutenant with an assault rifle, 2 squads of veteran assault rifles, both 5-man each, 3 squads of regular riflemen, all 3 squads having 5-man each, inexperienced medium mortar team, a regular sniper team, a regular flamethrower team, an inexperienced Nebelwerfer 41, a regular Tiger 1 with fuel shortage, an inexperienced SD KFZ 251 half-track with an MMG. And that was a total of 12 dice at 999 points. There were 3 tables at the event. First table was beach assault. Now the attacker comes on from the water, the defender is set up on land. 3 objectives, whoever has the most objectives at the end wins the game.
Number 2, I can't remember what it was actually called, but it was 4 objectives. Whoever has the most objectives at the end of the game wins. Nice and easy.
Table 3 was sectors. The board split into 4 sectors, armies set up in opposite corners. At the end of the game you score 1 point for units in the areas next to and opposite your deployment, and 3 points for units in the enemy deployment at the end of the game, and an additional 1 point per killed unit. Kill points!
Game 1 for me, I played on the beach assault tables. The army was made up mostly of infantry, mix of vet and regular, armoured car with an autocannon and Panzer III. I rolled the table for attacking coming on from the water, so took the pre-bombardment, which killed an officer and a few pins. I spread my army between the left and the right sides with the aim to capture 2 of the 3 objectives. Turn 1 resulted in very little shooting due to range, but the heavy artillery howitzer hit and wiped out a unit full of veteran infantry. I kept advancing up the board. I used the Jeep to bait out his tank while he was deploying on the left side, so I could then counter with the flamethrower team, which worked well because the tank got cooked.
Barbecue time!
I got the first dice on turn 3 and followed up the flamethrower to finish off his SMG squad hiding behind the tank. I used the tank and sniper to bait out shots and stop the infantry advancing to take objectives back and keep their focus. End of game, I was left with 10 of my 12 dice and captured 2 of the 3 objectives for the win.
Game 1, I played a 10 dice British Commando list in the Sectors mission. British Commandos was a list of veteran infantry units and some kind of Piper HQ choice that I've not seen before, who give buffs to other units. Now we had a big river running through the middle of the board with special rules and some nice open spaces. Strong start in turn 1, the Neb hit 4 units clustered together around a ruin. killing a unit and the HQ. Then the Tiger shot across the board, doing some heavy damage, killing the majority of another squad. The Tiger 1 and the Neb shots, being a 3-inch 3-pen high explosive, reduced the vets down to a 2-up to kill, and then an additional D3 pins. The British commandos pushed up the field but were outranged, with the majority of units not being able to shoot in turn 1. Turn 2, the Neb hit again, killing another unit, and the Tiger pushed up onto the bridge in the middle, keeping the pressure on. German infantry running up behind hard cover to deny any advances over the bridge. My sniper killed his sniper, but then got killed.
It's tough, really.
Turn 3, the Neb and the Tiger done a lot more damage. The Hanomag drove up close and unloaded 2 squads of 5-man assault rifle teams and a flamethrower to clean up some of the remaining units. Turn 4, I managed to advance everything and wipe the remaining British units, then spent the remaining 5 and 6 turn running everything into the enemy sector for the max points. With the sniper dead, I was left with 11 dice. The mortar and the Neb couldn't move through the water, so they weren't fast enough to get into the enemy deployment. So I only managed to get 9 into British deployment for 27 points, but an additional 10 points for kill points. So that was 37 points. Strong first game. Game 2.
Grudge match!
Dice Ghost versus Dice Ghost. US versus German. So we're both 12 dice each. We had loads of practice games against each other while we're learning, so we agreed that we'll shake hands, and we agreed to show absolutely no mercy. So we rolled for sides. Phil took the side obscuring forests, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was obscuring.
Yeah, and I had the side with the hard cover and the little house. Drew a few good dice at the start, give me a good advantage, and kind of could see your placement, which allowed me to keep certain units back, mainly the Tiger. So I could see where you were deploying.
Keep half my units away from that Tiger.
It was good, but it's a dice game. It's luck of the draw. No, you did deploy your forces spread out. You know, I think you've learnt from, I think that guy in the first one seen the full might of the Neb. So you branched out quite a lot. You know, I couldn't see you with the Neb, and what I could see was only rolling 1 dice on, so you've done exactly what I'd expect you to there. Your tank and Jeep played mega defensive. What happened there?
Oh, God. I was trying to hide them from the Tiger and the Neb, when and in the end they just hid behind a rock.
Yeah, but you did end up, I think you kept 2 veteran infantry squads in reserve. How many were in that?
So there were 8 in each of those squads.
Yeah. And the idea, I knew what we were doing, so you were trying to turn 5, just bring them on and run them onto the objective and just score the 2 so you could win.
Yeah.
Misplaced bazooka, that was a good one. So you advanced the bazooka, thinking you'll get a shot off next turn. Didn't see the sniper in ambush. You took your leg clean off. So that was a good thing to do early game.
True that.
That Tiger hitting the Sherman though.
That was the best moment of the game for me. That was where I had a little bit of hope that this was coming off for me.
So it was like, right, roll, hit. So it's hit, pen 7 on the front, rolled a 1. What's your armour?
9.
I didn't even get a glance on a pen 7. Any other time that would have popped.
So yeah, I finally plucked up the courage to roll out my Jeep from some really well hidden obscuring terrain. It brought out the flamethrower, aiming to absolutely burn your infantry. But then once again made that schoolboy error of not noticing you were on ambush.
Yep.
So my flamer just got wiped before it could barely get out the Jeep.
Oh yeah, and then you hit the tank in the side armour with the heavy howitzer. It didn't do damage, but 5 pins.
Yeah.
So that took it out for a whole turn because I had to rally them. So at that point I'd rallied the Tiger. The TO was like, how long have you got left? And we're like, we're on turn 4, going into turn 5.
Yeah.
My flamethrower just jumped out of the trees and burnt your Sherman off.
Yeah.
I had the Tiger without any pins.
Yeah.
And you had the 2 veteran infantry ready to come on, and we were like, we could easily spend another hour on this game. He was like, who's winning? So I was like, I've got an objective, and he's got an objective, and he was like, okay, that's a draw.
How did you feel about that, Craig?
How did I feel about that? I would have wiped you in that next turn.
I don't even know if I can defend this. I had so little.
You did well.
I literally took the draw and ran. I was quite happy. As soon as he said draw, I was deal.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was a decent game. So my last game was Sectors. I was playing once again against another German list. My opponent in this game seemed a lot more experienced than my first game. It was definitely the toughest match that I had.
Oh yeah, because I don't count now.
We both took different strategies in this game. He held a number of units off in reserve to avoid the old prep bombardment. Both of us were quite easily matched, but my decision to deploy more units paid off in the first turn, with the bazooka literally popping a shot at the armoured car and taking it out first go. This deleted his armour off the board for now, and the largest weapon that he had that could take out my units. This then allowed me to focus on pinning his infantry and moving to the best positions of attack. The Germans started focusing on the heavy howitzer, which was already pinned and needed a rally. The howitzer didn't do anything in this game due to the focus of his fire, but for 160 points its fear factor played a real part in being able to flex with my other units. Turn 2 was cagey, there was a lot of manoeuvring. I feel this is where the Germans may have allowed my US move and shoot advantage to really take its toll. And then rolling into turn 3, started with my unit of the tournament, which was the flamethrower. It either did everything or nothing. First time placing him on the table, I had shot up in the Jeep with my first dice gambling to get the second dice, which then allowed the flamer to decimate one of his key veteran units. Then I got some infantry stuck in the river, so these special river rules were really catching us out. I literally could not get these units out of the river, which definitely had an impact on me points at the end of the game. But one of the things that I was definitely using more was the down order. So any kind of fire that he was putting at me, I was literally going straight down.
Especially with objective games, going down can be the difference between 6s followed by 6s, and it's harder to shift off an objective.
And I think that's where it came in, because these games were such a great learning experience. And to play a player at the calibre of the third game, we entered into a proper battle of wits, especially in relation to the tank battle. He kind of took up a strategy I took up in game 2 of holding that tank back. But that's when I really adopted the ambush order, and I would just sit and wait for his tank to come on in ambush. The player obviously got on to this, and he was tempting me with all sorts of Hanamags, howitzers, but I just would not relent. That shot was for that tank, and it really helped me out, because in the end, when it came on, I popped it first turn before it could even get out of a shot. We reached turn 5, and I was now just mopping up remaining infantry and advancing towards his sector. We called it with me holding significant dice advantage. Takeaway from this game, I had to remember the down and ambush orders. It's always a tough call to go down, but the point of this game was the tactical use of down definitely strung it in my favour. He would have been annihilating my units on 5s, but those 6s followed by 6s probably took me for the game win. In the end, I think it was 15 points and 6 kill points for a total of 21 points.
Game 3 for the Germans, I played another British list on the beach assault table. Now we rolled for deployments, and I took the fixed position on land, taking advantage of the longer range weapons like the Neb and the Tiger and the mortar. Turn 1, the British came on bunched up on the right hand side of the board, so obviously I kept the Neb for the last dice, rolled on 6 units and hit 3 of them. Now that's a heavy mortar shot, 3-inch template, 3 pen, HE shell, taking veterans down to a 2-up, so it's absolute damage. Then the Tiger wiped a further squad of 10 vets. Killed 8 of them on impact, and the other 2 run because I put D3 pins and put all 3 pins on them, and they failed a morale check. So next turn, the second wave came on, and he placed them in the same place. So popped the Neb and killed another unit. With the British coming on from the sea, there was hardly any cover that they could get behind. So at the end of the game, I held all 3 positions for the win and tabled them. So, who won?
No one at the event managed to get the big 3-0 wins, but with us on 2.5 wins each, we placed for podium, but it all came down to those points.
Due to the landslide victory from the Germans, scoring near max points in the first game, the Germans took the win. Now this means that our last 2 games we played against each other have been draws. We need to settle this.
How are you planning on doing that then?
Grudge match, Starter armies only. No broken, overpowered lists. No objectives, kill 'em all, kill points game. Just 2 straight up out the box armies.
Yeah, I'm in.
Now, I know you've just got the Russian starter army box, and I've just picked up the Japanese Banzai starter box. Let's get them built and do like a battle of the grey.
Deal.
Well, it looks like we've got our next video lined up. Stay tuned to watch the Japanese destroy the Russians and settle this once and for all in our next video.
Oh, that's fighting talk. You may have won the event, but you haven't won the war.
Tell you what, let's take it a step further then. The general from the losing army gets destroyed.
What do you mean? What do you mean, destroyed?
I mean, full on, we'll strap the general to a firework and we'll blow it up.
From a new starter army?
Yeah, what's wrong? Do you reckon you're going to lose? You're not willing to take that risk? I've never played Japanese before.
And I've never played those Russians.
So there you go, it's fair.
Right, let's do this.
Next video confirmed. If you made it this far, thank you for watching.
If you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up and hit the sub button.
We really appreciate any feedback, so drop a comment below, let us know what you think, what you'd like to see next. You never know, we might feature your comments in the next video. Until next time, thank you for watching The Dice Ghost!
Are you going to do that in every video?
Yeah, probably am.